Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Friday edition of Harmonize to Energize. My name is Terry Matthews. I work here at the international headquarters of Jin Shin Jyutsu in Scottsdale, Arizona. Harmonize to Energize Friday edition is when we practice self-help positions for various conditions, projects, and today we're going to be talking about helping to harmonize hip and groin conditions, projects. For those of you that are completely new to Jin Shin Jyutsu, it is an art of harmonizing the life energy in the body, sometimes referred to as chi or ki, and it moves through the body in what we call pathways, organ function energy pathways, and it is adjusted by what we call safety energy locks and what the acupuncturists call points. Our safety energy locks or stroke points are the size or the width of your unique palm on yourself, and by placing them on the body, we're able to help move blockages of energy which are preventing us from living a life of balance and harmony. We facilitate this also by holding fingers and toes. And so some of the practices today will do absolutely that. They'll hold either fingers or toes or these positions on the body. So without further ado, let us begin, and we'll have a look at the slides, and then I'll describe what we're going to practice. Let's have a look at the slides. Oh, Lord. So, sorry about that glitch. I don't know what's going on these days, except frequency is changing, and sometimes our more sensitive equipment is affected, but hopefully you can see me and hear me. And so today's presentation, like I said earlier before I disappeared, is on helping harmonize hip projects. And this is taken from those self-help newsletters I created many moons ago. Mary's quote from what Mary says is, "Life is fun and simple." And that's page 26 of what Mary says. So if you need reminding that life is fun and simple, you might want to go to what Mary says, page 26. Anyway, let's have a look at the hippies. So these are the practices that I'll share today for helping any kind of hip condition that you may be going through or someone else may be going through. If you can take a screenshot of this, you'll be able to show them. So when I do these practices, basically I use the 36 breaths as the framework, and we do 4 sets of 9 exhalation inhalations, 1 breath being an exhalation and an inhalation together. The exhalation is allowing energy to go down from the back of the head through the groin hip area at the 15 to number 7, safety energy lock, which is the big toe. and then back again from 7 up to 15 stroke 2, which is on the back, and returning to the 4 in an oval. This oval goes down, and as it goes down, it spins around on the horizontal plane in a positive clockwise direction. And it also returns in a positive clockwise direction. That's how we harmonize energy, through the positive, not the negative. So, without further ado, there are 4 practices here. We'll go through them, and the choice will be yours, whether you focus on one for the 4 sets of 9 or each unique individual practice. You make the choice by connecting to each practice and seeing whether it really helps you more than the others, perhaps, to harmonize. Just go with your flow, your unique connection to that particular practice. And I'm itching again, whatever. So the first finger that we're going to hold, or the finger that we're going to hold, is the index finger, left or right. And the way to do that is to actually check each segment of the finger. Here we go at the hip line, which is at the bottom of the finger. Middle section is the waistline, and top section is the bust line. And check in there which may be more sensitive than the other. And that would be my choice of finger to start that practice with. The next one we've got there is the high 19 and the opposite. Well, it's the 19 actually, and the opposite thigh. So I would say hold it either here in the elbow joint, or the high 19 up here, and down here on the opposite thigh. All right. And then we have a fairly familiar practice. I'm going to put my right hand on safety energy lock number 3, which is third thoracic vertebrae, more or less, and the left hand in the groin, or the opposite. Okay, so you can either choose with these flows, left or right, remember that. And then finally, we're going to jump a cable, safety energy lock number 19, at the same time, both sides. All right, so these are the practices. Like I said, you choose whether you want to do one for 36 breaths or each different practice. Right, here we go. So we're starting with the index finger. Choose left or right, whichever way you want to go. And sit up as straight as you can. And if you need back support for your tush, get a cush for your tush. And then that'll help support you. Close eyes as much as you can. And then just exhale. No particular way, meaning through the nose, through the mouth, through both, through the ears, through the toes, whatever comes naturally to you. And that energy, as it enters the back of the head, is light. And it will spiral down through you as you exhale, cleaning the dust and greasy grime all the way down through the hip and the groin to the big toe. And then it returns up from the big toe back to the occiput back of the head. So let's begin. 9 exhalations, inhalations. Here we go. And after you exhale, you receive the breath on the inhale. You don't take it, you receive it. Universal source energy, cosmic purified energy is what you're receiving. And then you're releasing, you're letting go in order to grow further, to transform, to rebuild. And then with whatever you've rebuilt or built, you then cleanse that, because you're moving through different frequencies of energy in order to grow and expand. And energy moves. It doesn't sit still unless you allow it to, and then it stagnates. Nine times out of 10, the reason that energy stagnates is our attitudes, ingrained emotional responses. And you know, emotions normally precede thoughts. So get in touch with what you're feeling. And the center of transmitting and receiving emotions is right here in the heart center. And Jin Shin is sometimes referred to, Jin Shin Jyutsu is sometimes referred to as an art of compassion. Where would we feel compassion? Again, where do we feel all our emotions? In the heart. But compassion, like all the positive emotions, expand the heart. The negative emotions, fear, anger, worry, try-tos, sadness, contract the heart. So we're looking to expand, yes? So just feel the energy moving down the front of your body. Be aware, but don't try. Release. Surrender. Let go. Let go of control. Trust. Sometimes you might say, well, I do let go, but I'm frightened of going to let go and surrender so much. I get it. Fear is the biggest root cause, false evidence appearing real, of all our blockages, because we move out of the present into the future or the past. The goal is to stay present to what is and face what is, because when you face your fears, they're never as bad as your imagination and your mind, your memories kid you into believing. But of course, if you dwell on your fears, just like if you dwell on something positive, you can manifest them. So dwell on the positive because you want to manifest the harmonized life. So when you've reached the 9th exhalation, inhalation, just slip into neutral. Just become the witness to where you're at, where you be. The observer. And usually you're very different from the previous 9 breaths where you were before. Just observe. Now we go to the 19 in the opposite high 1, unless you're happy with holding left or right index finger, and you can stay there. Your choice. 9 exhalation, inhalations. Donk. And donk. It's on the thigh. Here we go. Oh, and it's nice to smile, because smiling opens up the passage between the occiput and allows more light to come into the medulla oblongata. Then it's stored in the cerebrum, and as we breathe out, that energy moves down to the heart and then through the 15 to the 7, etc., etc. And as we're holding these safety energy locks, as indeed the fingers or toes, we're listening for a pulse, receptive to the throbbing pulse that we would hear on our radial artery. And that tells us that energy is moving between these two places, the arms and the legs. But we don't worry or get frustrated if we don't feel the pulse. It will come. Practice makes progress. The more you breathe out and let go, the easier it is for us to hear the pulse. But in the meantime, be here now. So those hip and groin area projects, they begin to release. The muscles relax and the congestion, which is normally the regeneration flows being blocked, kidney, liver and spleen, they begin to release. And the lower back, hip area, groin area begins to feel the warmth of the light circulating, harmonizing, opening the organ function energy pathways to allow the free passage of chi or ki. And as you reach the 9th exhalation, inhalation, again, slip into that neutral zone and just be with who you are in that frequency. Feel the stillness. Don't steal the feel the stillness. Okay, practice number 3. And you may have decided you want to stay on practice number 2, fine. But practice number 3 is right or left hand over safety engine lock number 3, and left or right hand in the groin, the happiness position. Fill your hearts with joy and laughter. Here we go, 9 exhalation, inhalations. And the pulse you're feeling is the blood following the energy in that order. The blood goes wherever the energy flows. So we need to ensure that the energy flows, right? It's an art of circulation, in truth. And this 3 and 15 is a wonderful self-help. 3, you remember the door against disease. It's our seat of immunity. 15, the joy and laughter and where the regeneration flow. If you get this pathway open, it will build up your resistance against all kinds of attacks, viruses, etc., etc. So 15 and 3, good friends. And then the 9th, exhalation, inhalation, slip into neutral, be the observer. Diana, if the left hip hurts, you can do 15 and 3 on the left. That kicks in the supervisor energy flow, which works down the front and the back of one side left and then the right. Or you could do the opposite. You could do the 3 and the 15, the opposite side to the hip, because that will pull through the mediator, which kicks in at safety energy lock number 3 anyway. And the mediator is a crossover. Now the last practice, at least for helping the hips, hold your 19s. Beep, beep. There you have the elbow joint between the 2 tendons. Just hold them, exhale, drop shoulders, smile if you feel like it, and then allow. And sometimes there's a bit of a waiting game to hear the pulse. That's why we do the 36 breaths, to encourage the blockages to move a little quicker. And for those practitioners here today, you may already practice the 36 breaths while you're practicing on someone, particularly when there's a lot of fatigue. It will help them along, or you can ask them to practice the 36 breaths. Having said that, if they're really tired, they might be asleep. So, anyway, it is what it is, and as it is, it is. As we're coming to the close of the practice, I want you to really feel your connection with the earth. So those 7s, those big toes, really the whole of the feet, in fact, connecting to Mother Earth, because we're ending a cycle here, beginning anew. And the 9s, by the way, which relate to that understanding, govern the feet. We're bringing earth to heaven, heaven to earth, and earth back to heaven. We're ending a cycle. And then when you come to that 9th breath, congratulations, 36 breaths later, you may feel very different from what you did before, or not. And just remember, nature has its own cycles and its own timing is part of those cycles. Change does happen, but there's timing as well. And sometimes we have to do a little bit of extra breathing out, letting go. So don't get caught up with, oh, we just do 36 breaths. No, do as many multiples of the breath practice as you need if you have the time. But don't worry, don't get into frustration. Oh, I didn't do 36 or whatever. Just know that you're connecting with your life energy and it has its own intelligence. We're just assisting what it already knows to do. We're the self-helpers, right? Okay, wonderful. So just sit in the energy field that you're in right now. The field is where the transformation happens. And it's the space between the exhale and the inhale where the major transformation happens, because that's the no thing. That's when the mind has taken a break, a vacation. And so there's more space, 9th depth, for the transformation to take place. And now we'll have a quick look at what's going on in the world of Jin Shin Jyutsu. I'm going to share my screen. Here we are on jsjinc.net. That's the website. And let's have a look at what's happening from head to tail. November the 6th. That's next. No, it's November the 6th. I think it's 2 weeks from now. It's a 2-hour webinar, I believe. Yes, $35 it must be. And there'll be a webinar presented in English by Anita Willoughby, and your host will be Chandra. And it's going to be the story of harmonizing the spine and the back with Jin Shin Jyutsu. Flows to harmonize skeletal alignment, scoliosis, lordosis, kyphosis, herniated discs. Anyone who's got a herniated disc, you might want to check this out. Ways to reconnect to oneself, 41, page 41, text 2. I just want to say at this point, at one time we would invite anyone, even including those new people, to Jin Shin Jyutsu for these classes, but we have realized that a lot of the newer people find themselves a little bit lost from time to time. So we're recommending that these webinars are really for experienced practitioners, at least having done one 5-day basic class. So if your friends are asking you, suggest they do something like a self-help class or a core principle class, which I believe are going to be happening a lot more often, and Iori Liebenstein is apparently going to be doing one. But in the meantime, let's have a quick look at the organic study groups via Zoom with Sarah Harper, Maria Miniello, and Jill Pasquinelli. Sorry, Jill. These are carrying on. They're offered in a series of 4 classes, each 75 minutes long, via Zoom. A wide variety of different Jin Shin Jyutsu topics, methods, and techniques. Here are all the times: October the 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th in the Americas, and these dates in Australia, Singapore. Register today there. Then next week, October the 29th, Living the Art in Spanish begins with our dear, delightful Dr. Chus from Spain, and it will be in Spanish. Everyone who was on the webinar last weekend with Chus thoroughly enjoyed her discussion. And by the way, there's all replays available for all these webinars, and they're available for 3 months. All right. So you can register here. Your organizer is from Argentina, Jameen Gomez Rinaldi Banabi Zelaya. I apologize if I have not pronounced that accurately. So Dr. Chus. And November the 3rd, 5-day basic online. So those of you that want to find out more about Jin Shin Jyutsu generally and be aware of the material in Text 1 and Text 2, which is the foundation for becoming a practitioner of Jin Shin Jyutsu, here is an opportunity. Your organizers, Kelly and Maggie, sign up here. New students sign up, and review students sign up. Different fees, as you can see. And often people ask me, and before I talk, do these replays count towards the requirement? Yes, they do. The requirement at the moment is either 3 live 5 days or 2 online and 1 live. And yes, the replays count for your online requirement. Another 5-day basic, and this time with a newer instructor, Maria Meniello from Australia. This is on the 10th of November, and she's going to do part 1 on November the 10th. And then part 2 is coming in January the 12th. So here's all the information and where you can register today. Your organizer, Julie Wells from New Zealand, and Greg Jakaria from, I believe, Taiwan. And if you're a person who prefers to have a break in between study, then this could be for you. This may help you absorb and review the information more easily. But if timing is an issue, then maybe do it in all 5 days with Jill. A reminder again, you can get all the upcoming and past webinars by clicking on the links here, all the replays. And when you click on the links, it'll have the fees and you can download them. So that's it, folks. Thank you again for joining me for the Friday edition. And don't forget, Wednesday we have the Mystery Storyteller presentation, and I'm still happy to receive your stories. Write to me at what is happening? Write to me at info@jsjinc.com with your stories. My astrologer friends tell me that Mercury in retrograde ended 2 days ago, but I don't know. I still see some communication glitches, but hopefully the sound and the image were good today. Yes, yeah. We dealt with that little glitch, or large glitch, little or large. All right, folks. Have a good rest of the day, weekend, rest of the week till Wednesday. Well, beyond Wednesday, but Wednesday I'll be here with the next mystery presenter. Exciting stuff. People have got inspiring experiences, yes? And we get to learn. We get to hopefully be inspired, and then we get to share our stories in the future as well. So take care. Be well. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Cheerio. And I'll see you soon.